Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard. Thank you for watching today's Canada Regional Forecast Update, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. As we look at the Week 1 precipitation anomalies from the GFS Ensemble model, this takes us June 7th through June 14th. We see a couple things, and one that stands out to me is continued dry stretch across a very dry area here centered on southern Saskatchewan into southeastern Alberta and southwestern Manitoba. What looked like an active period here to close out the week has really trended towards a not quite so active and wet period. We have a storm system right now that's tracking through the region, and you can see some of the precipitation showing up from that here in a wet corridor here across parts of south central Alberta into northern Saskatchewan, and then some storms expected here all the way into parts of southern Manitoba and points north from there. But this dry area does remain here for the week of June 7th through the June 14th time period. Looking ahead to week 2, it does look like maybe we'll see an increase in precipitation along the Front Range here across portions of southwestern Alberta. Seeing some signal of a wetter pattern here across that very dry area of southern Saskatchewan into southern Manitoba. But details remain a bit cloudy with that period as far as how far north this precipitation is going to get. It looks like we'll shift to another active and stormy period across parts of the central and northern United States. But again, just low confidence here, and with the tendency lately for an active period to show up in that 7 to 14 day time frame only to have it taken away again. I've got a little bit of a trust issue with that signal as we look out into the period here, June 14th through June 21st. And the point of these videos is to focus on the next 5 days, so I'm going to tease it by showing that map, but the focus here is going to be a continued dry stretch over the next 5 days. Looking at the temperature anomaly forecast here for the next 5 days, this takes us all the way through June 11th. We are shifting to a cooler pattern across a big chunk of the Canadian prairie here, maybe slightly warmer than average, thanks in part to a warm next couple of days in southern Manitoba, but cold air anomalies or cold temperature anomalies extending well off to the north into the Northwest Territories. And this colder air extends all the way down into parts of the central United States as well. I said colder, but it's mid-June, so cooler temperature anomalies certainly not cold in many of these areas, although not out of the question to get some snow from this current storm system across the Northwest Territories over the next 48 hours. Looking ahead to the days 6 through 10 time period, this would be June 13th through June 17th. We see a warmer regime returning to the Canadian prairie region here, while that cooler temperature pool here kind of shifts off to the south and east across the central United States. We build some ridging back into the Canadian prairies, and that brings us back to a warmer time period. So let's dive in a bit. We have an updated drought monitor here across across Canada, and we can see that drier area in parts of the Canadian prairies here, where we've got level 3 extreme drought, pockets of that popping up here from Saskatoon to Regina. We've also got that popping up here across northern Alberta. But across the entire, Canadian prairie region, we do have a mixed bag there, where some areas right about normal, drought not showing up there, going all the way up to through, stages 0, 1, and 2, all the way up to those pockets of 3 in parts of southern Saskatchewan. We can look at soil moisture, the difference from average here. And again, that dry pocket, it looks most severe when we look at the soil moisture here again across southern Saskatchewan into parts of southern Manitoba as well, but drier conditions do extend all the way west into southern Alberta as well, as we look at, again, the soil moisture departure here from average. So the probability of precipitation over 25 millimeters for week 1, this is June 7th through the 13th, and this is from Environment Canada here. It again showing the probability of above 25 millimeters, above roughly 1 inch, and we see that corridor here. This is right about, I'd put the low pressure center from this storm system right here. And so what we're seeing is precipitation on the backside here from southern Alberta into northern Saskatchewan, into the Northwest Territories, and this general area. This is where we could see some snow falling on the backside there. And then off to the east in parts of southern Manitoba, this is where we're expecting to see thunderstorms over the next 24 to 48 hours on the leading edge here along the cold front. We'll have an unstable air mass across this region, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment, but the possibility of seeing some severe weather, some severe thunderstorms developing across this region, extending south into parts of the northern plains and the upper Midwest of the United States. Now here is that storm system right now as we start off on Friday morning. Again, the center of low pressure right here along the border here of southern Saskatchewan and southern Manitoba. Here's where we have the precipitation falling on the back side of that storm system, lifting off to the north and to the east. And then it's in this area, we've got a front extending off to the south from that area of low pressure, where we expect to see thunderstorms developing along that front over the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'll take my drawings off, and then we will go ahead and we'll play this out through not only the next 24 to 48 hours, but going on into the next week, taking a look at what the pattern shows. So let me go ahead and we'll play it once, then I'm going to let it reset, and then we'll go through time. Coming back here to Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, we're looking at about 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. We see that center of low pressure lifting off to the north. We continue to see heavy precipitation on the back side here. You're also seeing those thunderstorms developing kind of along and ahead of that front as it moves off to the east. We'll go ahead and we'll jump ahead another day or so, getting into now Sunday morning. Here's that front, the storm system itself lifting well off to the north, still seeing precipitation on the backside. There is some of that snow that I kind of teased there, well off to the north of the Canadian prairies, and then extending off to the south. From there is our front, and that's got scattered showers and storms developing along it. But as we get into this time period here, now we're looking at Sunday morning at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're already seeing that precipitation exiting the Canadian prairie, where now we're shifting back to a drier regime. And as I play this out through the middle part of next week, you see that continue. Maybe a small clipper sliding through here, bringing scattered showers as we look at the early part of next week. Let me go ahead and we'll show you where that is. Looking at maybe, again, isolated showers Monday evening into Tuesday morning, but that would kind of surprise me if we saw measurable precipitation there. I think this will pass by pretty quickly before developing into a more sizable storm system across the Midwestern United States. But as of right now, it looks like we'll get precipitation in those two corridors that I showed you here, the backside of the storm system and then on the leading edge where we see the showers and storms, and that is about it as we look at the next 5 to 7 days. Here's a look at the jet stream. This is the trough that is causing the storm system we're dealing with now. On the leading edge of that, that's where we have our center of low pressure. And on the backside of that, that's where we'll see the rain and perhaps the light snow when we get further up to the north. And then on the leading edge here, this combined with that unstable air mass across parts of southern Manitoba and the northern United States, and combine that with the wind shear that comes along with this jet streak, the patch of stronger upper-level jet stream winds. That's what leads the potential for some severe weather on the eastern side of this storm system. Go ahead and play that out, taking us into the next week as I rapidly delete my drawings here. And that does show after this trough kicks out, we shift to northwest flow with the jet stream. That brings in the cool down, the temporary cool down, but also kind of shuts us down as far as precipitation goes beyond this storm system here Friday and Saturday. This is a look at instability, CAPE, convective available potential energy. It shows us the instability, kind of the warm and humid air mass, and the fuel for those thunderstorms later on Friday and then parts of Saturday as well. Again, we can kind of draw that area of low pressure in right here. We got the precipitation falling on the backside, and then it's along that front that's moving through, that cold front combined with the unstable air mass that gives us the potential for severe weather extending from southern Manitoba into the northern United States. And here is the day one severe weather outlook here from Environment Canada, and that does show the severe risk surrounded by a moderate risk here. But the highest potential going to be, including places like Winnipeg, Brandon, and southern Manitoba, with potential for maybe some thunderstorms on the backside here. But the severe weather risk is going to be very low as we talk about northern and central Manitoba into central Saskatchewan. So that's where your severe weather risk is going to be the highest here. Again, where that unstable air mass is found here along and ahead of that area of low pressure, along and ahead of that cold front sweeping through the region. That's where you expect your thunderstorms to develop, and that's where we've got the potential for severe weather. Here's a way to kind of look at the cold front that's going to swing through. I'm just going to play a loop of the temperatures over the next 5 days or so. And there you see it, warm to start off across the Canadian prairies, but there goes the cold front sliding through not just the Canadian prairies, but cutting across the Corn Belt, the central United States, bringing cooler and less humid temperatures to that region as well over the next 5 days. Not only is it a cooler pattern, though, it's a drier pattern. This is a look at the available water, available moisture within the atmosphere. And you see we got kind of a moist air mass in place now. It's warm and muggy. We got that storm system passing through. That's what's providing the moisture for not only the rain on the backside, but those thunderstorms on the leading edge. But as we play this out, you see that front move through, and that takes all of that moisture along with it. And brings that cooler and less humid air mass, again, not just to the Canadian prairies, but you see it make its way all the way down here across the central United States by the time we get to the end of the loop. So again, a cooler pattern here for a few days, but it's also going to shut down the precipitation chances. So what we get here Friday and Saturday is about it for the next week. And unfortunately, it looks like that hardest hit area by some of this drier weather, the southern section of Saskatchewan here, going to be mostly missing out on the Friday and Saturday precipitation. A look at the total precipitation forecast all the way through Monday. So getting us through Monday at 7 p.m. You see that corridor of precipitation from parts of southern Alberta into northern Saskatchewan there, where we've got the potential for an inch or more of rain, 25 millimeters or more of rain. But then the thing that stands out, southern Saskatchewan, maybe some scattered showers here. Perhaps you get a few raindrops from this thing Friday and Saturday. Perhaps that quick-moving clipper-like system gets you with a couple showers Monday and Tuesday, but by and large being missed by the precipitation here, and that does extend into parts of Manitoba as well. It looks like the thunderstorm threat going to be the highest across southern and eastern Manitoba, with portions of southern and eastern, and then central Manitoba perhaps missing out on that again. So two main corridors of precipitation here over the next 5 days, and that would be right here, and then a potential problem area continuing to build across southern Saskatchewan into parts of southwestern Manitoba. This again taking us through 7 p.m. on Monday evening. A zoom in shot here on Alberta. Again, you see the corridor of precipitation from this current storm system from parts of south central Alberta into northern Saskatchewan. Drier conditions off to the north, and then drier conditions perhaps in the southern tip of Alberta here. We'll look at the high temperatures to close it out. Your Friday high temperatures, a kind of a mixed bag here, where we're seeing the precipitation obviously cooler and cloudy with rain falling here. We'll be in the single digits across south central Alberta, teens to the north of that, upper teens to the south. As we jump ahead to Saturday, and then Sunday, we're starting to see some of the warmth return on the backside of this cold front. So your Sunday high temperatures getting back into the middle teens, the 20s to the south, warmer still for the day on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, starting to see again that the warmer pattern kind of take back control of the area. So back towards the upper teens to near 20 degrees for your high temperatures on Wednesday, or for your high temperatures on Tuesday across Alberta. Pivoting off to the east, again, here is the corridor of precipitation from the Friday-Saturday storm system across northern Saskatchewan and getting off into Manitoba. Here's your corridor of thunderstorms and potential severe weather across southern Manitoba and points east from there. And then here is our problematic dry spot. This again, total precipitation all the way through Monday evening. So precipitation for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then looking like we'll be mostly mist here across southern Saskatchewan into southwestern Manitoba. Your high temperatures for the next 5 days for this same region, obviously, here we got our storm system making its way through. You can put the center of low pressure right about here. Cold front extending off to the west. Warmer air feeding in advance of that, so the high temperature is very warm for your day on Friday. The mid to lower 30s across southern Manitoba into southeastern Saskatchewan. That cold front moves through. We start to cool off in the mid-teens now across the south for Saturday, single digits to the north. Sunday, upper teens returning to the south across the Canadian prairies. And then following the same trend as Alberta here as we head into the middle part of the week, with that warmth beginning to return on the backside. Now, it won't immediately be a warm and muggy air mass. It'll just slowly warm up, and we'll introduce humidity slowly as we get into the mid to late part of the week, but overall a drier pattern still holding on into the middle to later part of the week. Here is your Tuesday high temperatures, and then we'll close with a look at, this was Tuesday. That is the last of the 5 days. I apologize. I always trip myself up there. But looking like your Tuesday high temperature is getting back into the lower 20s across the Canadian prairie region here. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Monday Morning Ag Forecast video, and you can find your next Canadian prairie regional update for you right here midday on Tuesday. Have a great Friday and have a great weekend.